Hey, it's Ed Salek, and the show is in honor of. Now, in honor of is a show for veterans, about veterans, and we get a chance to talk about some of the things we did. With us today, we have Mike Polito. Now, Mike served on the
USS America.
USS America. He was a welder, and he served during the Vietnam crisis,
1965 to 69.
Right. And I served on an oiler from 1963 to 66.
Okay.
So, Mike, tell us a little bit about your time on the ship.
Well, I was 18 years old. As a fact, here's my boot camp picture. We were stationed in the Great Lakes. It was 26 below when we got there, and it was cold. And if you think you're a tough guy, you'll find out you're not a tough guy.
You're right.
Because of the fact that the stuff that they make you do, like I had to watch a clothesline in 26 below weather. And I wound up crawling into a dumpster because it was warmer in the dumpster, but the dumpster was cleaned out. The OD come out, service week, where are you, where are you? I opened the door up. I said, I'm in here. What are you doing in there? Get out of there. I get out. He says to me, he goes, well, you got PT now for 3 days. PT's where you carry a rifle over your head and you got to run around the parade grounds.
Yeah, I remember doing that, pushing a piece, they called it.
Yes, that's what they called it.
I remember doing that. And when I went to the Great Lakes, it was about the same temperature. It was, below.
Cold.
Yeah. I remember 10 below zero in particular.
Right.
But I don't care. When it gets that cold, you feel it.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Now, you served, when you came out of boot camp, you went straight to the America?
I asked for overseas duty, and I went straight to the America. I made 2 Mediterranean cruises. Here's a picture of the ship itself. We get one of these for each cruise that you make, all right? Mine's got damaged because I had them down my sister's cellar, and they got water on them, so I have to reapply for them. But each book shows what year that you made, what cruise that you made, okay, and the countries that you were in, okay? It shows them here. All right, this is a Mediterranean cruise one, where it shows Barcelona, Naples, Toulon, France, Istanbul, Turkey.
Yes, France.
Yep. Capri, Genoa.
That was one of my favorite cruises, was the Med cruise.
Yeah.
I did a NATO cruise. I did the Med cruise, Caribbean.
It was a good experience. It's just that for that whole year, I think I was in state for 1 month or less than a month. 11 months I was overseas. So for the 2 cruises I made, in the first 2 years I was in the States maybe less than 2 months. Right. But it makes you grow up real quick, and you know what camaraderie is, as far as living with people, standing up and being yourself and who you are. And tough guys never make it, okay? Because they weed you out and they'll break you down. And it ain't worth going through. There was a ceremony we went through, okay, which was the polywog ceremony.
Yeah, you have to explain that to people.
Okay. The polywog ceremony is when you cross the equator and they stop the ship.
On the equator.
On the equator. And this is the commission that they give you for going through it. Now, the night before the polywog ceremony, if you find out that somebody's been through it, you could do something to them. All right? So what I did was we found this heavy-set guy in our department. We broke, well, first we hit him with graphite grease, and he was going down to the watch, so he was all fit for the watch, all dressed nice. We hit him with the graphite grease, broke a pillar with feathers in it, and he looked like a giant stuffed turkey. Not only did we do that, I was in the repair division as a welder. We took all the stuff that was supposed to be for the ceremony the next day. That's stocks, coffins that we made, all different kinds of stuff for the ceremony. We stole all the stuff for the ceremony, for the polywog ceremony the next day. The captain came on the PA system and he says, if the people or perpetrators don't return the stuff by tomorrow, there will not be a ceremony and the person will wish you never joined the Navy. So we returned it back to the department where we took it from, and you come up on an elevator. Now there's like 50 guys in your department. Next thing I know, I look around and there ain't nobody there but me. And they go, we got him. We got him. And this guy's marking X's on my head. When I tell you I couldn't sit down for a week, I went through the whole thing, the stocks, the garbage, the throwing up in the coffins, the hanging over the ships with 200 pounds of pressure.
Right.
A garbage chute for months of garbage where people have thrown up in, and that are 30, 40 feet long, and you got to go sliding through that. Here I think I was over. Oh, God, there's the guy. I had to go through the whole thing again. I could not sit down for a week. I had to put a pillow with a belt around my butt. That's how much welts I had on my butt. But it was a ceremony, and the best part of the ceremony is, no matter what rank you are, you have to go
That's
through
right.
it.
Yeah.
From admiral to captain to JG or whatever. I had an ensign. His name was Ensign Hudson. He had a finger there, mustache that he loved, okay? And he was a pain in the butt because he was out of Annapolis, and he came from a well-off family. So I had him sing, row, row, row your boat with a raw egg in your mouth. And I'm saying, Mr. Hudson, sing row, row your boat. He's going, oh, louder, oh. And I go over and I break the egg in his mouth. With electric clippers, I clip off this half of his mustache. Oh, it went around the division. He's gonna get you. You shouldn't have did this. I walked into his office. I threw the hose that they hit you with on his desk, and I said, Mr. Hudson, I just want to inform you that if you got a reason to get me, it's fine. I says, I went through the ceremony twice. I couldn't sit down for a week. He looked at me and says, Mr. Polito, get the hell out of my office. So it's a learning experience, but it was a great experience.
You brought some film along with you, right?
Yes, I have film of 8mm film on the polywog ceremony, which will show the stocks, the coffins, the water. They even have a pool where the royal court will grab you, wrap you around their stomach like this with graphite grease on. They'll dump you in the pool, cut your hair, and then you got a whipping line.
Yeah.
And this is all I took on videotape.
Just so the viewing audience understands, this is King Neptune's court.
Yes.
Okay, and you'll have other sailors who took part in King Neptune's court that have been through this before, and they help administer whatever
Retribution, I call it.
retribution they have, exactly.
But this is another thing that you got for
Domain of the Golden Dragon.
Golden Dragon. Yeah. Okay. Was another thing that you get when you pass that into Vietnam and you stay more than 6 months. Okay. It's an honor to have it, but it was an experience going through it.
Right. And you carry that experience with you the rest of your life.
Yeah, and the people that you talk to, the sailors, if you mention polywog and shellbacks, they'll understand.
Right.
But there's people that they don't understand because they've never been through it.
Exactly,
So,
yeah.
This is the day your parents are allowed on the ship, and they show the different planes coming in. That's an A4. That's a reconnaissance plane. That's a high-altitude reconnaissance plane that has cameras in the bottom. This is a Phantom that goes twice the speed of sound and has bombs on it. This is an AWAC plane. An AWAC goes 200 to 300 miles ahead of the ship and gives you 200 to 300 miles distance with radar, so nothing penetrates that area of protection. And that round thing on top is the radar. They showed this for the parents of the men on the ship. They also show a sled being pulled where they had the planes come in. Here's the people that are on the plane, on the ship. Now you'll see the planes actually flying by. They had a sled set up where you see how good these pilots really are, and it's amazing how close or how accurate they come to hitting this sled. Here's the bombs being laid out next to the ship to show the ordnance they have and the damage they can do. This is a helicopter. And it was very nice for the parents to see this. This is before we left for Vietnam. There was a lot of people there. My mother and father were there. And it was nice. They passed away, but this is memories that I can always keep and have.
Back then, the military did pay close attention to your family.
Yes. They were involved with, especially if you left to go in a war zone.
Yeah.
Like I remember writing a letter to my parents, and I never called my father Dad. And before I left, I says, will you tell Joe that I understand what it was to marry my mother, which was with 3 kids, and at the age of 13 and 12 years old, where I could never see the guy as my father, and I didn't call him Dad. And I said, tell him I thank him for being my dad. My mother wrote me a letter back. You ever write a letter like that again, that you might not be coming home and all this stuff in it, you don't have to worry about coming home.
But everybody lived with that fear.
Yeah.
Especially in Vietnam.
Yeah, this is in Subic Bay. This is
Philippines.
Yeah, in Philippines. This is Philippines. This is where you come aboard and they drop the landing craft, and you'll see a Jeep coming off. All right, and the people go there and they have. This is me at 18. All right, and this is us. I think this is part of Japan, where we took leave. This is the different areas like they have. And Japan is very, very pristine. I mean, these are guys that were in my department. And this is in where we have leave. And this is part of the shellback ceremony. This is the whipping line. You come up on the elevator, your shirt says Polywog on it. All right, everybody you see with whipping hoses. You have to actually bend down and walk to each area. This is the Royal Court, where they have graphite grease on them, and they stick your face in their stomach. It's amazing the scene that you got to go through and stuff. You can see them grabbing your head. Now this is this is the coffin, where people have thrown up in and garbage left for a week and stuff, and they put you in it, rub your face in it, put it all over your hair, close it, bang it with fire hoses and stuff, and then pull you out. It's a first-time experience. And you can see this is an officer by his brown pants. Okay? Right. He has never been through this, and you have to go through it. No matter what rank you are, you have to go through it. All right, here's the net. They put this net over the side and hit you with 200 pounds of pressure with a fire hose. There's the fire hose. If you 2 people holding it, and it whips you around like a helicopter. And it hurts.
That'll cut you, yeah.
Not only you're 60 feet from the water hanging over the ship. All right, here's the the pool that they make, that they cut your hair and dump your hair, they're cutting your hair, and they dump you in the pool after you go to the royal court. Now you think it's over, and you have to worry after they cut your hair and then you come out of the pool. But then you'll see now, here's the royal court again. All right, now you come out of the pool and there's a whipping line. And I do mean a whipping line. There's 5,000 guys on an aircraft carrier. And once you've been through it, at least 3/4 of the crew are shellbacks. So you'll see the length of the whipping line. It's a good 2 city blocks long. And that's an officer going through. And they do not hesitate in hitting you, believe me. But it was a good experience, and it was something that you'll always treasure, and that's why it is a ceremony that all sailors have to go through. See that fellow there that was running? They brought him back because you weren't allowed to run. And at the end of this, there's the chute. The chute is about 15, 20 feet long, has garbage in it for a week. Those are stocks that they put in that you put your arms and legs in, right? And the chute is at the end of it. This is more towards the beginning with the royal court. These are stocks that you make, and they put graphite grease in your face, right? Cut your hair. There's the pool again, where you jump off and they smack you. All right? And there's where the whipping line starts again. And the ship has stopped doing this. Everything is just a ceremony. Everything is canceled for the day other than the ceremony. And you see that guy winding up and smacking the guy. All right, this is back at the royal court where they put graphite grease on their stomachs. All right, I think this is Japan, I think, yes. City of Japan. This is where I guess this is the prince or the
emperor.
The emperor lives, right? And it's very pristine, very, very, very well kept. And you can't go in other than being on a tour where you could see the outside like this. All right, this is the inside of the ship. That's why it's so dark. All right, this is where, all right, we're back again where we're taking movies of the Emperor's Palace. All right, this is a friend of mine that went with me on the tour. We were allowed to wear civilian clothes then. But it was very, very nice and very, very pristine. This is more of a Buddhist temple where they go in, and as you can see, this is the shoes they wear. It's amazing how they can walk with no problems.
Right.
This is the Buddhist temple where they're doing some kind of ceremony there. And this is the kettle that's always lit, that you make a wish or whatever, and you do good tidings for people.
It's amazing the things that you were able to learn about other cultures.
Oh, and the way they live.
And the way they live, right.
It was amazing. There's me again at 18.
You think you know everything from whatever you learned in school.
Right.
And then you get out there in the world and
it's completely different.
Completely different, exactly right.
And the respect the Japanese had was amazing. This is us on the tour on a bus. This is where they had the Olympics and stuff. I think I have a picture of the tower, from the tower to where this is. Oh yeah, this is in the tour. They gave us a tour of a pearl factory, and these are the pearls that they actually make, and these are worth a lot of money, but you could get them at a reasonable price for being on this tour. I bought a set for my mother that she cherished. This is more downtown.
It's becoming Americanized now.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the palace's grounds. And this is back on the bus. But it was very enlightening tour of a way of other cultures live and the way they dress and walk compared to Americans, where we take everything for granted. This is where they stayed during the Olympics, that building there.
What year was this?
This is 1968. All right, this is from the tower. You'll see the pool down here. This is where the Olympics were held. All right. There's the grounds, there's the pool, and that's the Olympic area that was set up for the Olympics. This is shooting from the tower, and it was a little cloudy and stuff, but it was nice.
Do you think the Navy has changed much since you got out?
I think it has changed, yes, a little bit, where, they recognized the different people where people were hidden, like you would say, in the closet.
Right.
Where you have to recognize them. Plus, the women now are recognized to be on board ships
That's
and
true.
to be in a working facility with men.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was on board ship, I was on the USS Allagash. We had a complement of 240 people, no females.
Right. We had 5,000, no females.
Yeah.
2,500 were aircraft people, and 2,500 were ships companies. And no matter where you were, you had to keep a third of the complement of the ship on board in case you had to pull out
Right.
during sneak attacks and all that stuff that happened in the past. So we learned a lot from it, but it was a great experience. I went to Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Rio de Janeiro, and we broke every bombing record when we were in Vietnam. That's why we went to these other ports.
That was your reward.
That was our reward.
The
right.
ship's company got rewarded.
Right. And we were the first ship to pull into Sydney since the war. And they gave the people the day off. And in Sydney, there's an area that looks like Coney Island.
Right.
And everything was free. And the people there were just very, very amazing. And I could understand why they're our closest allies during the war.
I found a lot of the countries went to, like when we went on the NATO cruises, the people in England were very, very friendly.
Yeah,
Scotland, very friendly. There was no animosity, so nothing.
Yeah. It was, France was all right. I didn't really like it a lot. I mean, I had the Eiffel Tower and everything, but it was
France.
maybe the language difference or just being an American. It's just a different experience. Where the other countries like Australia and New Zealand, they spoke your language.
I know at that time, I felt that the French should have been a little more friendly than what they were, because we did build them out.
We did,
We built them out twice.
Yep.
But Italy was very, very friendly. Spain was extremely friendly.
Right. I went from Naples to Pagan Salerno.
Right.
Because my stepfather, his cousin or something, was a medical doctor, and he was a professor that taught in Rome.
Right.
So I took the train from Naples, but I had to go to Toronto. But I had to dress down and wear civilian clothes because that was communist control on that side.
Right.
So I went, and it was really funny because I didn't smoke, but I got him things of Benson and Hedges and really nice cigarettes.
Right.
And he was so amazed and thankful for it. When I left, it was funny because it's good to speak a little Italian, like "Come si chiama?" What is your name? I was there at a party, and Italian men are very cautious of women around them, especially with American men.
Right.
So they were like very pulling back from me. I said,
Right.
and one man said, "Chi sto cazzo tu not?" I said, "Oh, I just scuffle della moose." And the kid says, "Oh, capito Italiano." Stunad means stupid in Italian, and scuffle della moose means smack in the face. After that was done, the women were dancing with me, and it was like an open party.
Right.
When I left, the whole town said goodbye to me, which I thought was amazing. But it was just a different place. And the trains were, I can't tell you how clean they were. And the people on the train, I had a tape recorder with the Temptations.
Right.
And I was playing that. And I bought a big long pepperoni, and I was cutting out provolone cheese and pepperoni and listening to music. And everybody from the train came into the compartment I was in, and it was just nice. People were nice.
Well, the point here is that being in the military wasn't all killing, getting killed.
Right.
I mean, there were certain points that you could take out of your time in the military and capitalize on a learning experience, if you will.
Yes.
And I did great with it. I enjoyed it, and God knows I was like 27 different countries.
Right.
And, you couldn't buy that.
No.
You couldn't buy that elsewhere. I mean, there were bad times. We all had bad times, especially during Vietnam. But there were some good times.
Well, the only bad time I felt bad was when I came back from Vietnam and Bayonne was having riots. And I said, what the hell am I doing in Vietnam fighting for these son of a guns here, and they're rioting in the streets? I mean, that got me so annoyed that it just showed you the difference of America, the way it was then,
Yeah.
and overseas, and the way the people are there.
I know when I got out, I wasn't alone. There were literally hundreds of thousands of servicemen that got spit on and abused. I mean, it was pathetic what was going on in this country.
And then you wondered why. Why did we go to fight this war? You know, it was something that everybody that has to do with the military. This is why we're free, all right? And a lot of people just take that for granted now.
Right.
And I feel it's an obligation. And at that time, I was drafted. And I feel like they shouldn't have took away the draft because it grows young men up to be men.
Exactly.
All right? And a lot of people
I couldn't agree with that more.
A lot of people feel, oh, my son shouldn't go and this shouldn't be. But it is the way it is. And at that time, I was drafted number 3. Right. All right? I didn't go to the Army. I went to the Navy. And I said, you need me.
Polito, I want to thank you for sharing your military with us and your experiences. Thank you for bringing the tape. That Polywog tape is, it's a treasure.
Yeah.
It's a treasure.
And if anybody sees this and wants to get in touch with me, that either served on the USS America, my phone number is 917-968-7230.
Thank you.
And please, if you can, call me. Thank you.
Well, you've been watching In Honor Of. We want to thank you for watching, and we'll continue to bring you programs like this. Mike, I can't thank you enough for what you did.
It was, like you said, it was a great experience.
It was a good experience, a good show. We enjoyed it. You keep watching In Honor Of. I want to thank Terry on the other side of the glass for helping us put this all together. Thank you very much.